So the decision to run 10 marathons in 10 days for aware is a very personal challenge to me. And I've kind of mentioned before just that I've had my own problems over the years, so just to kind of open up a little bit more on that and give a little bit of context as to why I've just sort of wanted to take so much action on it. So for me, I was bullied in school. That's kind of the premise of it. I was a very happy-go-lucky child, kind of very quiet. I know kind of just from my parents to tell me any parent-teacher meetings, went in to ask about Davy O'Connor. I think the teacher was scratching his head wondering who I was, because that's how quiet I was. But it kind of began around second class, which, because obviously in and around kind of your communion year in and around then, and people just started picking on me, and I kind of went along with it, and I kind of ignored it for quite a long time. Because there were other kids in the school as well that were being picked on, so it didn't bother me too much at first. I just kind of thought it was something, alright, listen, this is a phase, that'll sort of go, and I was quite naive to it. But there was one person in particular, and unfortunately for me, he kind of lived near me, so the torment that he started building up towards me, it wasn't only in school, so it kind of built up then. After school we were playing football or out playing in the streets, he still had access to me, so that kind of built up, and it kind of carried on. It carried on, and it started to build, and I just remember it started to hurt me. I started to get a bit angry about the whole thing, but even at such a young age, I remember kind of thinking, like, I can't really say it in here, like, look, I'm in school, you're surrounded by other boys, you know, I don't want to use the word weak, but there was just something, as I said, there was something aware inside me that I didn't want to be the one that was going running to the teacher saying that something was wrong. But kind of as it happened, the teacher at the time, she was brilliant. Miss McNeese was her name, I'll always remember. She obviously copped something wasn't right, and she got in touch with my parents and I think my grandmother as well, and they went up and they pulled me out. So I was kind of put in the spot to sort of name who it was and what was going on, but I was very reluctant again at that stage just to kind of come out. Now bear in mind, I'm going back like 25 years plus here. It was a very different era, and I appreciate even for teachers it must have been something very difficult to kind of recognise. So I shuddered it away, like, but it kind of it went up and down. There were just periods like that where it kind of spiked. Teachers were probably aware of it. But one thing I just couldn't understand is the particular individual, as the years passed, they kept putting me in the same class as this guy. So it was constant. It was just constant. And again, as I got a bit older, I realised just sort of what it was based on. And it was about appearance. And because I was the chubby kid, I was the one that got picked on. And sadly, with obviously growing up on a diet of American films, Hollywood, where the storyline would normally evolve around the chubby kid being the goofy one and the one who was picked on, that I brought that into real life and just accepted that was the way it was, that alright, well, if you're the chubby kid you're going to be picked on, so I just accepted it. There was things I hated, things like sports days, you know, having to get changed in front of people because I didn't want to take my top off. We had the swimming pool across the road at the time. If we were swimming every Friday, I think the excuse I came up with was I was allergic to chlorine, and I said I had asthma, and I don't even know, I think I pretended to have an asthma attack one day or something like that, just so I didn't have to take my top off, and I just shone away from all that. So that's what it was based on. It was based on appearance, and again, as I said, 20 plus years ago. I'm 33 now, and to this day, like, if I'm I hate taking my top off in front of anybody. I'm still to this day really self-conscious about my image. You know, it's ironic obviously with my job as a conditioning coach, as a personal trainer, where I'm kind of looking to teach and to educate people about confidence about themselves and where they're at, is that it's unfortunate because a lot of the time I can't do it myself, and yeah, it's sad. It comes down to clothing, it comes to what way I look at myself. It can be very difficult at times, and I know people look at me and I say, "Hey, Jesus, are you fucking mad?" Like, but it's unfortunately still ingrained inside me, like. But that's what I was picked on for, and I carried on for probably 5 or 6 years. I went through all the usual stuff. I got thrown in the bin, I had my bag turned inside out, I had my pogs robbed. I don't know if anybody ever remembers pogs, but I had a fine collection and they all got robbed. All my football magazines were ripped. Had my top pulled up over my head, so I had a couple of nicknames. Jelly Belly was the worst one. That was the one everybody chose just to sort of throw at me. And that's again something that sort of stuck with me. So I took a fair few beatings as well. You know, just horrible stuff that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And as I said, I just accepted it. I'd now kind of in a strength. I was upset about it. I got angry about it and I cried and like sort of to myself. And you know, I think obviously my mum and dad, I knew what was going on, but I mean again, they were young parents. I don't know if they knew what to do. I can't even think back. I don't even know if they did anything. I'm not sure, but I appreciate how much of a struggle it must have been for them as well. Like, but look, you grow up, obviously we go into secondary school and things kind of change a bit, but I just always remember even the early days of secondary school, like just a lack of confidence, and it's a difficult time for everybody at that stage of so much pressure on what you have to do with your life, what you have to study, what job you have to get. And I just remember just being really self-conscious throughout it all. Probably no more, no less than anybody else in the school, but it sat in me. It sat deep inside me for a long time. You know, look, I'm very lucky. I think in secondary school I met good people. I had good people around me. You know, friends that I still have to this day. Like, and like it's important to kind of recognise that it wasn't all completely and utterly doom and gloom. Like, but I just didn't enjoy it like the whole time. I skipped fourth year and all just to get out of school as quick as I could. I think it was 15, or I'd only turned 16 doing my leaving cert. Just kind of give you an idea just how young I was getting out of school. Like, but again, as I said, just with the bullying that piled up on top of that, then when I was 14, I was in town one day. I had saved up all my money from my first job, and I wanted to buy the new Ireland jersey, and went on my merry way into town, into Arnott, bought my jersey, and I decided to walk home from town, which I do quite regularly to this day actually, but on my way home from town I got mugged. A guy pulled a syringe on me and he wanted the jersey, and what worried me, I just remember he knew exactly what was in the bag, so he had obviously been following me for a long time, and he pulled the syringe, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. Look, I've never been so afraid in my life. And yeah, that, I think the altercation, if that's what you want to call it, probably lasted no more than 5 seconds, but the pain, the torment lasted a lot longer than 5 seconds. So it happened at the end of the Malahide Road. There's a pub there called Kavanagh's. It was right opposite that. It was about 2:30 in the day, like loads of people around, and this guy, obviously no shame, picking on a young fella. I don't know how old this guy was, but he knew what his intent was. And I screamed at the top of me lungs. I just screamed, and I ran from the end of Malahide Road to the whole way home. Like, I think I sprinted, like, and I just remember just crawling into bed and just hiding under the pillow, like. But it destroyed me, as low as my confidence was at that stage, in terms of sort of, you know, appearance, just self-consciousness. The side of it that I maybe felt I was actually alright with in terms of social side, and mixing with friends, and even being outgoing in terms of football, getting out to town, just doing different things, that just completely destroyed me. I just locked myself away. I didn't ever want to step outside ever again, like. And like, I don't know, again, like, we never went to the police, we never reported it, and I don't know why I didn't. I was terrified it knocked the life out of me and affected me for a long time. I should have got help over it, and again, I've always just had a little bit of fear kind of ever since, just looking over my shoulder a bit, like just being very paranoid over it, like. So two major things that sort of set me back a bit. You know, whatever it is about the bullying, I know that happens, and it happens to a lot of people, but show that in with a syringe being held up to you is not a good mix. So took a long time to kind of get over it. Just the more I kept thinking about it, and obviously your thoughts become who you are, your thoughts become your actions, and unfortunately something kind of tweaked in me, and I remember just kind of thinking, geez, maybe they were right. you know, maybe these guys were right to pick me, maybe maybe I am weak, maybe I deserve this. And there was just an extremity of it. It just built and built and built, and it was at a period in my life where, you know, even despite having a degree and gone through college and working hard on my life, I was just coming to that stage where I didn't know what to do. And again, you know, perspective is wonderful, hindsight is wonderful, and that you look back on it now, you know, your 20s is there to just try everything. But at the stage I was at, I just felt lost, I felt a bit worthless. I was looking at friends, you know, who were becoming teachers, great jobs in finance, insurance, and, you know, just fell into that trap of just comparing myself to others, which is just poison. It's a horrible place to kind of go into when you start looking at life that way. And I ended up just getting a job in the bank, and I know there was a time where walking in the bank, that was it, you'd made it. You walk in the bank, that was it, that was your job, you'd made it. And, you know, initially there was obviously a boost in morale. I'd gotten this job, felt a little bit better about myself. You're obviously earning money, you feel like you're contributing. But it didn't take long. Like it just chipped away at me. And unfortunately, just what built up in terms of what had happened to me growing up, and just what I was going through and what I was experiencing about how people were treating people in this environment, how people, even the likes of customers and that, like just how people interacted with each other. I just became really aware of the negativity, the lack of respect, lack of compassion that kind of people just seemed to have on each other. And look, I think I maybe chose to focus on that. I was maybe looking for excuses to kind of lose a bit of faith in people and lose a bit of faith in myself as well. And I kind of knew I need to get out of this, so I took a break. I had a wonderful holiday off. I went to Miami for a couple of months. No better way to deal with any kind of issues you might have. So we had a brilliant time over there. It completely freed my mind. It was liberating. I was there for a long time, and best thing I ever did, just in terms of independence and building up a little bit of confidence and that. And I came back. I felt good. I remember coming back just feeling a little bit of self-worth there. I felt that maybe seeing the world a little bit, or a little part of it. I was in a situation where I was on my own, and I had to kind of adapt to situations, even socially, where you just had to talk to people and, you know, get to know people who from different parts of the world, different cultures and that you were meeting in hostels and everything. So that was probably one of the best things I've ever done. And the unfortunate thing then is just when I came back from that, went back to working in the bank, you're just jumping right back into it. And, you know, everything I enjoyed, everything I loved about that life, which obviously it wasn't a real world, I couldn't have stayed there forever, but it stripped away very quickly. And like I'd say within a month after my career break, like, it was gone, the head was gone again, and everything just piled up at that stage. I was fighting with people, not getting on, I was moody around family, I was letting people down and all. I always kind of prided myself on loyalty to friends, and particularly people who I'd grown up with, and just letting people down. Like no kind of principle or no sort of belief system in place as to how I'd sort of react and act with people. And I just knew, again, just looking back now, I know like I was pissing people off and I was letting people down. I was doing things that I know people were probably saying like, geez, what is he doing? Like, and there was just a change there, and it was just carelessness because I just didn't really care about it. And like I said, it was just a severity about it that I kind of knew what was coming. And you know, I felt awful, I looked awful. I remember again, I was working as a teller in the bank, and I remember a customer came up to me one morning and she took one look at me and she actually said to me like, well, you know, you were out in the drink all night. And I had to walk off, and I burst into tears. Like, I've never drank in my life. It's like, I think I was in bed at 9 o'clock the night before that, and I could just give you an idea probably just how rough I actually looked. And like, I don't know, like just that particular incident, I don't know why you'd say that to someone anyway. I wouldn't say it to someone, but I think she probably captured kind of really where I was, like. But that's what I mean. It was just little things like that, just looking for the excuses again to kind of dislike people, looking for excuses to kind of distance myself, and yeah, it was leading into a bad place.